Good, good. How are you?
Lekker, Gika. No complaints. We're busy here.
Okay, okay. Finally, at least now we can both
No,
hear
no
each other.
problem. Yeah, these computers can be very helpful and sometimes not so much, but we are winning. Hold on. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. I
Yeah.
won't waste much of your time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I want to first start with I'm just going to explain the charge that you are obviously charged with, which is violating a protection order that was given in terms of Section 7 of the uh, Protection from Harassment Act. Ne?
Yes.
Yeah, let me just try and find this protection order from my file, see what it says. And yeah, so it was granted. The stamp here says 5 April 2023. And the applicant is Jade Bradshaw, and the respondent is Jean Leroux. Your address here is listed as CrossFit Gym, Lowbrands, Jeffreys Bay.
That's not my
They
address.
they also put your cell phone number here.
That's not my address. That was never my address. That was a place where I coached swimming 1 or 2 or 3 times a week. I don't know where that came from.
And then just wait, I'm
Okay.
gonna give you an opportunity. Then in terms of this interim protection order, it says that the respondent, which is yourself, is prohibited by this court from engaging in or attempting to engage in the harassment of the complainant. Then the second condition is that the respondent is prohibited from enlisting the help of another person to engage in the harassment of the complainant and or above related person. And then the third condition is not to commit any of the following acts. It's not to have direct contact with the directly or indirectly contact with the complainant, not to come near or enter the complainant's residence situated at number 1 Acacia Street, Wavecrest, Jeffreys Bay, and to stay away from the complainant's daughter, that is Ariel Bradshaw. So those are the conditions of the protection order. Then there is also a return of service that is attached that was served by the sheriff
I don't have that.
to
I don't have that and it was never served on me. That's one of the multiple problems with this case, but I'll listen to you first. Thank you.
okay. So the return of service says on this 12th day of April 2023 at 17 minutes past 4, I served this final protection order in terms of section 9, 1, 4, and 6 of the Protection from Harassment Act of 2011 upon Mrs. L. Domeni, ostensibly a responsible employee,
Who Miss L.
and
Domini? Okay, thank you.
Domeni is a responsible employee and not less than 16 years of age, of and in control of, and apparently in authority at the place of employment of Jean Leroux at CrossFit Gym, Blowgrounds, Jeffreys Bay, the last mentioned being temporarily absent, and by handing to the first mentioned a copy thereof, after exhibiting the original and explaining the nature and exigency of the said process in terms of section 13.1 and regulation 15.1 A and B of the Domestic Violence Act 116 of 1998, also read with Rule 93C of Act 32 of 1944 as amended. The original return, together with the original above mentioned process, is dispatched to the mandator. So that's the return of service by the sheriff.
Which sheriff was that, ma'am? Is there a sheriff in Humansdorp? Which sheriff?
Yes, it's
Is there a name?
C. Erasmus Sheriff Balju, who serves here in Henke and Humansdorp.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, he is his email address is also attached, and his office where he works is also written down here, and the telephone.
Wait, how do I get this document? I'll have to get it from you.
Okay, I'll just take a picture and send it to you.
Thank you, cool.
Yes. So yes, that's the then the return of service by the sheriff, and he is doing this in terms of the sections that I mentioned, which is section 13(1) of the Domestic Violence Act, and also Rule 99, subsection 3, paragraph C of Act 32 of 1944. I'm also going to read what those say. So what the sheriff did is he did what is called personal service. So personal service can be done in a number of ways. Firstly, let's go to the Act itself, the Domestic Violence Act. So it says in section 13, it speaks about the service of documents. That is how a sheriff or a police officer can serve a protection order. So it says service of any document in terms of this act must be effected immediately on the person affected by it at their residence or place of business or place of employment or study in the prescribed manner by the clerk of the court, the sheriff, or a peace officer. So three people can serve a protection order. It's the clerk of the court, it's a sheriff, or it's a peace officer. A peace officer is a police officer. So it says it can either be served at the person's residence, at the person's place of business, at the person's employment or study. So it says where the complainant and the respondent share the same address, the service of document must be effected by hand on the respondent personally. So this only applies if the person that's applying for the protection order and the person that the protection order is being granted against live in the same address. So now the sheriff must personally give the respondent the documents on the hand. You understand? So if the people don't share in the same address, then it is sufficient if it's served to a person that's over 16 and that is a responsible person. So it can be served at the respondent's residence. You don't have to be there. It doesn't have to be given to you. It can be served at your place of business. It can be served where you work or where you study. And it does not have to be given to you by hand.
No, I understand.
Yes. So the sheriff says that he gave it to a Mrs. L. Domini, and I'm not sure if you know who this is, but she was there at court. She will testify in the trial that she was given the protection order on that day and that she gave it to you.
Okay, I don't remember any of this, so that's fine.
Yeah. Then obviously, okay, all of that process then does not create an offense. So just a protection order being made and a protection order being served on its own, that doesn't create an offense. Yeah. So once there's a claim that one of those conditions that were listed in the protection order have been contravened or violated, then the applicant of the protection order can then take the protection order to the police station and open a case. And so in this case, like I said to you previously, Jade Bradshaw went to the police and she opened a case. And what she says is that on the 11th of December 2025 at about 3 o'clock, she received a phone call from Captain Stander about Jean Nel, who has applied for a protection order against her, and Captain Stander as well. Or it's a him. Or it's a him, sorry. Against him and also against Captain Stander. And then on that same day...
It was not me, it was his ex-wife. His ex-wife opened protection order at the New Law Court, not me.
Okay, but here he says, I'm still reading his thing. He says it was Jean Leroux that applied for a protection order.
Okay, so
And then he
that's
says,
not accurate.
yeah, he says on that same day, Colonel Vanguard then came to serve the protection order that Jean Leroux had made, and she says she came with two other police officials. Then, while standing in the hallway, Jean Leroux came into my house, and in his hand he had a cell phone recording. The protection order I had opened against him clearly states that he is not to enter or come near my place of residence situated at 1 Acacia Street, Wavecrest, Jeffreys Bay. Then Colonel van Vanguard then told Jean Leroux to get out. He's not allowed here. The two police officers then chased him and caught him and arrested him. I did not give anyone permission on the or consent to come into my house and contravene the protection order. I want further police investigation into this matter. So that's Jade Leroux, the first state witness.
Jade Bradshaw, yeah. I've got
Bradshaw.
these statements. I've got Jade Bradshaw's statement, and I've got the two police officers' statement, and I think I've got a statement from Van Wijngaard. So you don't have to read them all to me. We can just get into what you would like to do and your ideas, and then I can share my ideas with you, if that's okay.
Yes, and you know, I've also read them to you before. No, I just wanted to explain the charge first to you, and then explain what it is that is alleged that you have done in terms of the protection order, which is it is alleged that you breached the protection order by going into the property which the protection order itself had prohibited you from going into. Yeah.
Okay, so just from the get-go, this is a complex matter which is binding to many other matters, but I understand you'd like to focus on this matter, so I'd just like to raise the first thing. I was never served that protection order. The second thing, I was never allowed an opportunity to come and defend myself against the false allegations in that protection order. My current partner,
sorry, I'm also going to be cutting you off sometimes to ask questions.
No problem.
So when you're saying that you've never been served the protection order, are you saying that Mrs. L. Domini did not give you the protection order?
I recall none of that. Remember, I worked there coaching swimming, so we had documents going backwards and forwards for names and payments and receipts and bookings, and I don't recall any of this, and I also don't recall being able to be in court to answer for these allegations. But above and beyond that, not being given the papers.
Sorry to cut you off. When you say you don't recall, are you saying with certainty that you did not receive? Because not recalling is not going to help you. Are you saying with certainty you did not receive the protection order from Mrs. L. Domini?
No, I'm saying I don't recall, therefore I didn't receive it. That's why I asked you for the return of service on the very first day, because the attorney I'd spoken to at the time said he wants the return of service. He in the meantime is no longer my attorney.
I remember, yes, you asked me for the return of service, and I did ask the state, and they gave me this return of service.
Okay, we'll have a look at that. Then besides that, that protection order is now already expired today. It expired actually just like a month ago. And in all the time, there's never been an issue or a problem. And as I explained to you, Mr. Gola from New Law Court, Harassment and Domestic Harassment and Violence and Abuse Section, Mr. Gola, whose number I can give you if I haven't already, him and his office instructed me that I must get that document to Mr. Bradshaw or he will not be coming to court. Also, after days of struggling at Humansdorp and jbay SAPS, with no one willing to help me for hours and days, Captain Mitchell from Mount Road SAPS arranged with Van Wijngaard telephonically that she must assist me, and she agreed to assist me to get these things served for my partner who lives in fear and threat. That is the reason why I was at that house, to make sure that those documents were served as the instruction of the New Law Court and the Mount Road SAPS division. I had no other reason to be there. I had an injured wife at home. There was no reason for me to be there. And on top of that, this all is in the self-defense of a little girl who's being held hostage and molested by Jade Bradshaw or his family or one of the teachers at the school. So this is a self-defense matter for a minor little girl. And so I was acting in self-defense of a minor and my partner and myself, who have all been harassed, hunted, attacked, injured, and in prison more than once in the last 4 years. And so it's not as simple as just who went where, who did what, even though I was instructed by officials to go and make sure that those documents get put in Mr. Bradshaw and Mr. Stander's hands. And so I did not go there to go make trouble. And as soon as I got there, as I showed you, as soon as I got there to see, to witness, and Van Wijngaard told me to leave, I turned around and walked back to my vehicle and patiently waited there for the officers. No one chased me, she's lying. And we discussed it, and then I was arrested as an act of revenge because Van Wijngaard, Leslie and Stander are 3 corrupt police officials that are ruining that town and moms and children's lives, and it's all being exposed. So it was a revenge arrest. So this all needs to be taken into account and cannot just be ignored, and I would like to bring that to your attention.
Thank you so much, sir. But okay, we're going to go back to the issues that are relevant for your case.
Okay.
So what I understand is that you're saying you did not receive the protection order.
Not to my memory, no.
So when you say not to your memory, is it possible you got the protection order but you don't remember? What are you saying exactly?
I'm saying that I did not get that protection order from anyone. I was made aware of it by you, and I recall there was a matter where the little girl of my partner was not allowed to be around me, but my partner's attorney at the time and her father, who paid for it, had the daughter's name rescinded from which I now know are these documents. I thought it was part of the divorce proceedings. I'm not a lawyer, I don't know all these things. And rescinded was the word I remember. They rescinded the daughter's name so that I can again help transport the daughter, care for the mother, get the daughter to school, get the daughter back from school, take her to swimming. I remember there was a matter, but my daughter, my partner and her attorney sorted it out so that I was again allowed to transport the daughter. So I don't know if that all binds up, but I was never given those documents by anyone until I now am 1+1ing and figuring out what's going on here. I don't know all these things. And also, ma'am, I've been to Humansdorp to assist in this matter, not my own matter, more than 100 times in the last 4 years. So I've got a mountain of documents. So if you'd like to come and look through all the documents, I'm happy to give them to you. But I don't know all the documents, all the
they're
rules,
not relevant to what you've been charged with.
I feel they are relevant. No, I don't agree with you. I feel they are relevant because there's a little girl at the bottom of this pile. And
But what you are currently charged with does not have anything to do with the little girl that you are talking about.
Okay, so then
what you are charged with is on that day going to the property of Jane Bradshaw.
Yeah, on instruction of the New Law Court and on the instruction of Mount Road Police Station in PE, where I live.
But then you understand what I've just read to you, that by law, the only persons that can serve a protection order is a clerk of the court, a sheriff, and a peace officer, nobody else.
No, I don't understand that because that's not what I was told. I have voice recordings of those meetings. I have voice recordings of those meetings where I was instructed for me to take those documents to Jade and Captain Nico Stander. So I was acting
instructed by what? What's the position of the person that instructed you?
Mr. Gola from the New Law Court.
What do they do?
And Captain Tony Mitchell of Mount Road Police Station. I've told you repeatedly now, Mr. Gola is the manager of the domestic violence and harassment section of the New Law Court.
Okay, but so you have not made those witnesses available to me, you did not bring them to court.
Yes I did, and I've been to see.
You did not bring them to court.
Because Mr. Gola said that you guys will have to contact him to arrange that. So the two courts are both telling me two different things. What am I supposed to do, ma'am?
Which two courts? because I asked you, and I also I asked you to bring. Remember when we used to remand the pre-trial conference, we couldn't proceed with it. So before we did the pre-trial conference, I did ask you to make available your witnesses to me.
Yes, and I went to see Mr. Gola, and he said that you will have to contact him.
But also, you have not made his contact details available to me. How am I going to contact him?
I will read them to you now. Mr. Gola.
Be that as it may, even if I do contact him, in what capacity was Mr. Gola telling you to serve a protection order? Do you understand? We still have that problem. Because you are not a peace officer, you are not a sheriff, and you are not a clerk of the court. So he doesn't make the law. The people in parliament make the law, and the.
No, I agree with you. The people in parliament make the law, and I'm following the laws. So, as I understand the process, when I went to apply for my partner for these POs, they accept all the documents, then it's taken to a magistrate, and you come back 3 or more days later to receive your outcome and instructions via the clerk and Mr. Gola from the magistrate. And that's when they told me what I am trying to communicate to you, which I have recordings of. So then I went to Captain Mitchell at the complaints department, SAPS Mount Road, Captain Tony Mitchell, and he told me the same thing, and he helped me arrange, after 4 or 5 days of struggling, to get any police officer in Humansdorp or jbay to assist me. Can you not see a problem here, or is it just me?
Can you forward the recordings that you also have to me, and also forward their details to me?
Yes, ma'am. Of course I will. I have some.
So that before the trial date, I can speak to them.
Sure. Of course, I have some of them, and I have the numbers. The numbers and the emails are easy. I've got them. I'll send them right now. I've got some of the recordings, but some of the recordings are on my multiple cell phones that Captain Nico Stander has taken from me and my partner, my private and business phones, which he has locked up in his own personal safe in his office, which multiple courts and prosecutors have told him to give back to me, and he still has not. So I need my property, please, so I can send you all the evidence, which he is holding.
Say that on the day of the trial. That's hearsay. You will not have the recordings that you are speaking about.
I've got
and the court will only take note of real evidence. So if you are claiming something, if you are claiming you're backing up your defense is in a recording, you have to play the recording at court. Yes, if you say you have it, but then you don't play it, then that's hearsay, and it's not going to be admitted as evidence.
That's all right. I've got recordings of those court days and those instructions from those prosecutors and those magistrates as well. So no problem. I will bring all of it, and I will send as much as I can to you, no problem. But I also need my property, my private property and business property, returned as per the instruction of the court and the public prosecutor at Humansdorp. So I will bring and send what I have. I can back up everything I'm saying, no problem. But I would also like you please to help me get my property returned so I can have a full evidence file, not partial.
Before we get to the property, we're now kind of going astray from your defense for this case. You understand?
I don't agree with you. How would you like to defend me then, ma'am, so I can understand what page you're on? Let me try to get on your page rather.
What I understand is that, sir, you are saying your version is that you did not receive the documents. You understand? So if the state has the return of service from the sheriff, and they also have Mrs. Domeni, who's going to come and testify and say she did give the documents to you.
That could be
so
hearsay.
If that
could also be hearsay, so I don't agree with that. Yes,
it's not going to be hearsay if she wasn't coming to court to testify. It would have been hearsay, but because now she will come to court and she will testify.
We'll have to discuss it on the day, because that could just be a fake witness. And then lastly, ma'am, the last concern I have, as I've tried to raise... Sorry, yes?
Was she not working at the CrossFit gym?
I don't know. I'm not the owner of CrossFit gym. I remember.
Do you know? Okay.
I think it was
perhaps
Liesl.
I should have.
I think it was Liesl.
Yeah. Perhaps we should. Sorry. Perhaps we should have started here. Do you know her?
I think you're talking about. I think her name was Lisa or Liesl, a lady. I did see a lady that I recognized at the court. Now that you say it, it's all like it's coming back to me. Now I recognize who she was because
Okay. Was she working at the gym?
yes, that lady worked at the gym while I was there.
Okay. And were you working at the gym around the 12th of April 2026?
I have no idea. 12th of 2026. No, I haven't worked there for years.
2023. 2023.
Yes, in 2023 I spent some time at the gym. Yes, it wasn't my place of work. I coached swimming there. I work for myself. I run more than one company, ma'am. I don't work for the gym. I coach swimming for free or for just gym fee. So I coach swimming there just to help people get water safe, people who couldn't afford normal expensive swimming lessons. I charged a very small or no fee, and all the money went straight to the gym. So I didn't work at the gym. It was more like, can I say, a social service?
How long were you there?
A year or two.
When did you start?
I don't recall, ma'am. It must have been in 2022, I think, and like 2023, it ended because I got too busy on the road again. Because when COVID lifted and my businesses got back on track, I had more transport and transport needs to sort out, so I couldn't be there as often.
How often were you there?
In the beginning, it was every day because it was quiet in my other businesses, and then eventually it became like 1, 2, or 3 times a week, depending on the bookings that I had for 1 hour in the late afternoon.
2023, you were coaching there about 1 or 2 times a week, and you had already been doing it for about a year.
Yeah.
Okay, and what was the agreement between you and the gym?
There was a guy there called Wesley. He was running the place or owning the place. I don't know. He's left in the meantime. I don't know where he's gone. And he was trying to get the pool to have better use because they built an indoor warm pool and it wasn't being used by anyone. So I said, okay, I'll get a swimming club going and I'll attract people to come there because I like coaching swimming and water polo and water safety. And what I'll do is I'll get people to come swim for free or just charge them a very small fee to add to the only swimmers membership fee structure that they had, and thereby I would have access to the pool to swim and train because I also train, and I would be able to help the community improve the water safety of those who don't have access to expensive private swimming lessons. And he agreed to that because he would have more feet through the door, more interest in the facility, and some partial income, and then obviously helping me supply the community with a useful service. And so me and Wesley had that going for a while, but Wesley has left in the meantime. And as far as I know, Liesel or Lisa, I can't remember exactly her name, she's also left. The reason why I didn't recognize her at the court is because she looks a lot sicker than she used to be. She looked sick when I saw her. That's why I didn't recognize her. As you're saying it now, I'm recalling. She looked a lot different when she looked when she worked at the gym. So I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, so her and me and Wesley all haven't worked there for years. And that was not my primary or even my most place of work. So I don't know how they dropped documents that important off there. But anyway, I don't remember getting those documents. I just recall having to sort out an issue through my partner and her father and the lawyer for the daughter to be able to be transported by me because I was doing all their transport needs after the ex-husband Jade Bradshaw stole their car at night. So I was their swimming coach and I became
Okay,
their
so
transport. Yeah.
you were providing a service there, and in exchange, they were letting you use the swimming facilities for free, and sometimes you would also charge uh, the people that you were coaching like a small fee.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Ma'am, my partner who's here who would like to also mention something.
I just want to point out, I don't think that can be classified as his place of employment because Mr. LaRue was paying the gym, not the other way around. He wasn't employed by the gym because he was just coaching the children and they were using the facility. So the fees that the children were paying him to coach them, to teach them water safety and swimming, he paid those fees back to the gym for the use of the pool. So he
Okay.
wasn't working for the gym. He wasn't employed by them. He was actually paying them. It's completely the other way
Okay.
around. And
So
from my
he was
memory,
paid.
from
Sorry, ma'am. So he was paying them
for
to
the
use
use of
the
the
gym,
pool.
so that then and the people that he was coaching would then pay him.
Yes.
So it was a place of business for him.
Yes, he was not employed by the gym. The gym wasn't paying him. He was paying the gym. He was just using the pool. And what I'm
They
also,
called it renting a lane. I would rent a lane.
Yes, yes.
just like if I
No.
go privately, I just pay for the use of the lane. So that wasn't his place of employment. Plus, as I remember it, it was at the time that we were involved that we were going for lessons and I was helping him. It was only, say, 2 afternoons a week.
Okay. So yes, ma'am. And so I do understand that you're saying he wasn't employed. Yeah, but the act also says if you are using it as a place of business, so which is what
Okay, well, we don't have to dispute the
he's
act. I understand what you're trying to
yeah,
say.
yeah.
As long as I can also have a voice. The one also thing that I want to just lift out before I forget about it, but I've sent you about 8 or 9 emails. I don't know if you received all of them. You said you saw 1 or 2 of them. I can resend them if you want, and there's lots more, but I don't want to overwhelm you. I want to just get on the same page with you. I also have not lived in Jeffreys Bay for a long time because of attack and harassment that occurred there and illegal arrest, which is in other courts right now. I would like, and also that young male judge is the one who locked me and my partner up twice. I sent you a message about it, and I would like to get my case transferred to the new law court, which is my jurisdiction and has oversight because of the harassment and irregularities at Humansdorp Court that we've experienced for 4 years. There's been fraud proven, there's been harassment proven, there's been illegal arrests proven, and IPID and the Hawks are on board, private investigators are on board, and SAPS out of town are on board investigating all of this right now. So it's a very big situation, and this is actually not a fair matter that we're discussing right now. I just want me and you to get on the same page, and I want my case, please, respectfully, as a request, transferred to the new law court and away from that hostile environment where it is getting worse and worse by the day. And my wife is currently pregnant, expecting a baby in mid-September, so I can't be going to and from Humansdorp once ever or twice a week or even once or twice a month. Also, my limited budget due to all these legal costs and my house being under attack, my finances are on a very, very fine line right now, and I'm caring for more than one person. I can't be driving out 500 to 1,000 rand fuel to come sit in a court and be harassed and treated hostile. Do you understand?
Okay. So what I'm gonna respond to first is the thing about jurisdiction. So this offense is alleged to have occurred in Jeffreys Bay, so that's why it's being heard in the new law courts. Understand? So that's why it's in the jurisdiction of
Yes,
Jeffreys
I
Bay.
understand that, but
If
it's
it
a
had
hostile,
occurred,
yeah.
if it had occurred in the jurisdiction of new law courts, then it would be heard at the new law courts. You understand? And also, yes, so because it occurred in the jurisdiction of Jeffreys Bay,
Yeah.
it will be heard at Humansdorp Court, because that's where it occurred. It occurred in the jurisdiction of the Sarah Batman
No, I understand.
district.
I'm saying that I'm being
Yes.
harassed and experiencing and can prove a hostile environment in front of a judge who has already proven he's not objective when it comes to me and my partner, and I have the right to request to have the matter moved to a fair and just location.
What happened with the judge? I'm not privy to that. What happened?
So can I jump in here? I want to
Yes, ma'am.
explain that the first arrest was me, and it was as part of a dispute in my divorce. So there were many custody disputes about the well-being of my daughter between me and my ex-husband. And so Captain Nico Stander came to attack and assault and arrest me, right? And that matter was heard at Humansdorp Court. And Mr. LaRue and my parents paid an attorney, Mr. Duncan Hewer and Peter Doberman. And what happened is they proved at court that the warrant of arrest was defective. So it was essentially a fraudulent warrant, and it also came out that that magistrate that he's referring to, it was his brother that stamped the warrant. So this was all proven in
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Who is his brother?
I'm not sure, they didn't say his name.
I think it's that rather, I don't want to say fat, that large judge that is up in the top court, because I've seen him.
They're not brothers. They're not brothers.
Okay, but nonetheless, that's what I thought, and I'm wrong.
So I was in court. Mr. LaRue was not, because he was still traveling. What happened in court was my two attorneys was arguing with the prosecutor, and when they were arguing about the merits of the warrant, when my attorneys was proving that the warrant was defective, the prosecutor, Bianca Berger, she was the one who said, because she was objecting, and she was saying to that magistrate, the skinny guy with the short hair, I don't know his name, she was saying to that magistrate, but your worship, this is improper because it was your brother that stamped the warrant. So it came.
No, sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
They are just referred to that. Even let's say the Constitutional Court, or all the justices that are sitting there, when they are referred to, it will be said your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law. It's a law term. They are not related.
Okay, well,
yes.
Okay, yes. The point I'm trying to make is my attorneys proved that the warrant was defective. So what we can send you is a court order that states, where that magistrate had to stamp, where he ruled that the warrant was effective, and so for defective. So for that matter, I was then released immediately, because the court had to put on paper that they had no jurisdiction over me. So what I want to say is I then gave notice to Humansdorp Court that I intend to file civil lawsuits, because now I've got a claim against the state for an unlawful arrest and unlawful detainment, right? So, and because of that, plus my divorce had been in that court for like 3 to 4 years, with lots of irregularities and complaints that are on record with the court manager, Mr. Kunrad. So because of all these complaints and the problems, and even complaints I sent into the Legal Practice Council for various officials there, and then this warrant that was found, the warrant of arrest that was found to be defective, that created a conflict of interest, too much hostility and personal matters intertwining, right? So that judges there cannot rule independently and fairly over myself and Mr. LaRue because of all this intertwined personal mess and bias, right? So then my attorney warned me that when I was released, that Captain Stander was extremely angry, and he was going to redo everything and charge us again, because he's looking for charges to stick, because this is a harassment thing. So part of the reason Mr. LaRue was at Mr. Jade Bradshaw's residence, as he mentioned, was to serve not only the protection order on my ex-husband Jade, it was also to serve a protection order on Captain Stander.
In self-defense, and the law clearly states that you may use any and all means to defend yourself. And I was there on instruction of Mr. Gola's office and SAPS Mount Road.
Okay, so
can we stick to the bias that you are claiming that the magistrate has? So what I understand is you say that the magistrate presided over that application that your attorneys were making, that the warrant was defective.
Yes.
And then he ruled that it was defective.
Yes, I just want to explain. I'm going to clarify the bias. I was just explaining broadly. So let me keep track here. So
yes, please, so that we don't lose much time. Can we keep to issues that are more
Yes, so what I'm trying to say is the protection orders Mr. LaRue was serving, the one was a normal protection order against Jade Bradshaw, and that was for me. So again, as he pointed out, just so it's very clear, Colonel van Wijngaard, in the affidavit, she is lying, because it wasn't Mr. LaRue's protection orders, it was mine. It was my protection order against Jade Bradshaw, and then I had a harassment protection order against Captain Stander. Those are the orders he was there to serve. Now, to get back to when I was released and the defective warrant, Captain Stander warned my attorney at the time that he was very angry, or my attorney warned me that Captain Stander was very angry and he was going to redo everything. Then, literally about 3 weeks later, they came to our farm, and Captain Stander, with a whole task force, invaded our property and arrested me and Mr. LaRue. So this is where the harassment comes in, because this has happened repeatedly. Now, what happened with that case, and what I'm trying to point out to you, is that at first we were taken to Humansdorp court. Now, because of the previous unlawful arrest and the court order and the complaints I had sent in to Mr. Kunrad and notifying them that I'm going to be claiming against the state, that conflict of interest, as I understand it, caused that criminal case to be moved to the New Law Court, Port Elizabeth. Because as I understand it and as I remember, Humansdorp Court said they cannot hear our matter because of this conflict of interest. So that second arrest, that criminal case, was moved to the New Law Court because of the conflict of interest and the bias and the previous unlawful arrest. And then at the New Law Court, we were released. And not on bail, just on a warning. So that case is also finished, and we were never found guilty of anything. So what I'm trying to show you here is a repeated pattern of malicious arrests that amount to nothing, we're never guilty of anything, and it's on record in court. And the previous time, for the very reason we're explaining to you now, the court by itself moved it. Humansdorp said they can't hear the matter because of this. So it was moved to the New Law Court.
And in fact, Captain Nico Stander then tried to come to New Law Court and have it dragged back to Humansdorp, and the judge said no, that cannot be done. So.
And then because
I understand.
Yes.
Yes, I understand what you are saying and about that particular case. You understand, but.
Yes.
The magistrate currently that's going to preside over this trial, his only involvement was that he ruled in your favor. So how can he be then biased?
No, the
He's
second...
been on multiple, he has had multiple rulings against us, all negative, all biased. There's not one matter, there's more.
What are these rulings?
The second time, it was him that moved the case to the New Law Court because he couldn't hear it because of his previous involvement.
Had us locked up without any offer of bail, despite having no record of previous problems. He just sent us straight to prison. No bail application, no discussion.
Did he refuse? So he didn't hear your bail application also?
He didn't allow anything. He just sent me straight to prison, St. Albans.
Both times for me and Mr. LaRue.
So 4 times.
We were not offered bail.
Despite having no record, no previous offences, just straight to jail.
Yes.
4 times.
And so that is a matter.
And ma'am, I'm going to need, just to respond on this part about sometimes a person is arrested and then within 48 hours you have to appear in court. And then when you get to court, the state will ask for a postponement or a remand. It's usually not more than 7 days. And that is for them to find. You do tell the court, you disclose that I've never been arrested before and I don't have any pending cases. But how they verify it is through your fingerprints, which are linked to the system, and then something called the SAP 69s and profiles are then generated, yes. And that's how they then find out a person that has been arrested, whether they have previous convictions or a pending case. It doesn't happen to just the two of you. Most cases are usually postponed on the first appearance. so that the state can verify either your addresses where you live, or they can verify whether you have previous convictions or pending cases, or sometimes the attorneys and the state themselves, they're not ready to make the formal bail application on that day. So those are just some of the reasons that a case can be postponed. It's not because the magistrate, the state requests the postponement, then the magistrate decides whether to grant the postponement or not based on law. So that's not something that is then saying if he grants the postponement of the state, that does not mean that he's biased against you, that he hates you, that he does not want you to get bail or anything like that. It doesn't just happen to you. As someone who works in court, it happens every day where bail applications are not normally had on the first appearance of the accused person, and males are sent to St. Albans and females are sent to North End.
Well, that's wrong in my opinion.
I hear you, ma'am. What I want to clarify for you is two things. So we are currently busy with an attorney who is looking through all the records and dates and procedures that transpired with our unlawful arrests, that is going to review all of that because he is assisting us with our claim against the state. So that is in dispute currently while he's looking through everything to advise us, and because he's handling the claim against the state. And then on that note, I want to just reiterate that it was previously it was the magistrate and the prosecutor that decided the last time that we were there that they could not hear the matter, that because of this conflict of interest, because of the previous cases and the warrant being found defective, previous unlawful arrest, because of my notice that I'm going to be claiming against the state, and because we have moved and our jurisdiction is Port Elizabeth, our previous case, for all of those reasons and more, it was the magistrate and the prosecutor that moved it to the new law court. And then once we got to the new law court and legal aid came on record.
After weeks in prison. Weeks. When's the last time you spent weeks in prison?
We were released, no bail application, just on a warning. So we were not guilty of anything.
And made to walk home. Does this sound fair and good to you?
So what I want to get to the next point that is important is that previously our cases was moved, and so there's that principle for the same thing to happen now. But the second thing,
but this case, sorry to cut you off, ma'am, this case is not premised by all of that. I understand why they said that they cannot hear this case. Yes, there was a conflict of interest in that one because of the warrant already, because of that case that was thrown out of court, you understand, and the warrant had been signed by the other magistrate in B court. And so I understand why they said that they cannot hear that case. But this one, it's not premised by that. It doesn't have the same problems as that case, you understand. He has not previously dealt with this one. And in any case, even in that last case, he did not violate your rights. He excused himself. As you are saying, he transferred the case when he saw that there was a potential conflict of interest. He ruled in your favor when your attorneys were able to show that the warrant is defective. Sometimes in other courts, in other stations, there's one magistrate, there's one prosecutor, there's one legal aid. The same magistrate, as long as he does not have any personal involvement in the matter, he will hear their maintenance application, he will hear their bail application, he will hear their trial. Magistrates can do that.
Well, that still doesn't explain the hostile environment and the history of the other cases which are pertaining to our lives and this matter. So
okay, what I'm trying
I hear a lot about Captain Stander, but Captain Stander is not a court. He's not sitting. He's not going to be the one that's going to decide this case.
This young male judge has not acted fairly, nor has the entire court building.
How has he not acted fairly?
But ma'am, so what I'm trying to explain to you is I can't tell you that right now or in all the legalities, because we are busy working through that with the attorney that is handling our claims against the state for the multiple previous unlawful arrests. So I don't have that information. It's currently being reviewed. We are busy going through everything so that the attorney can ascertain what was lawful, what was not, where was procedures not followed, where was bias, where was irregularity. So that is still under dispute and being reviewed by a different attorney who's handling our claims against the state.
It would not be fair, just, or proper for me to appear in that court building or in front of that particular judge.
So what
Can I just speak and then I will allow you?
Okay.
From what I've heard so far, I have not been given any reasons for me to make an application for the magistrate to recuse himself. What are the reasons? Because when we make the application, he's the one who's still going to hear it, and in terms of the law, he must then make the decisions. At this stage, I have not heard any reasons why he should recuse himself.
He was involved with both our previous unlawful arrests and detainments that are currently under review with our attorney for our claim against the state. Where with the one, we have a court...
And I explained, just because he had a matter before does not mean that when he hears another matter of the same person, that automatically means that he has bias.
Of course it does. That's not logical. What you're saying is not logical. So you're saying that if you and your mom interact over a year, and then you and your mom have a disagreement, that year of you and your mom interacting has no bearing on the matter. It's not logical what you're explaining to us.
So what I'm trying to say is, a magistrate or a judge has taken an oath to act in the best interest of justice.
You're trying to tell me that that's not a human who can make mistakes or have bias. Are you saying that
they very well can? Hence, there are mechanisms that are in place to be used when that does happen. I'm saying on just the fact that he has decided a case of a certain accused person before, that alone, that itself does not mean that in this case he is going to act.
The way that it was done does matter. I'm not saying the principle is wrong.
But how was it done? How was it done?
You'll have to come for a very long meeting and start reading with us through all these mountains of documents that courthouse has dumped on my family. Which we are busy.
What my understanding is, the warrant that was unlawful was not even signed by him. No. Is that not what you were saying to him now? To me now?
Yes, the prosecutor Bianca Burger said it was signed by his brother.
But sourced through
another magistrate.
Yes.
It was signed by another magistrate.
But
yes.
From that court, yes. And what
it does not. Magistrates sit on their own. If a magistrate decides your case, it does not mean that another magistrate in the same court has been a party to that case. The one that signed the warrant sat on his own, made the decision on his own.
In that hostile court environment where we are not being treated fairly or justly for 4 years. So we need your assistance.
How is the court environment hostile?
I've explained it to you for an hour now. What would you like us to show you?
For example, for as long as I've now seen you in what has been hostile that has happened?
The very arrest that happened, ma'am. So
no, I'm talking about this case. Sorry, ma'am, to cut you off. I'm talking about this case. I'm asking Mr. Leroux. What has been hostile that has happened since he has been charged with this case?
No, it can't be since there's been charged. There's a whole history of malicious actions against my partner and I that cannot simply be ignored just because they say so. I also have rights. So either you can help me figure this out, or you should need to refer me to someone who can, or I must find another place to help me, because you're either not understanding or you're not hearing, in which case we either have to supply you more evidence and documents and recordings, or you need to help us, or we need to go somewhere else, because it's not logical what you're saying.
I disagree with you, sir. I disagree.
And I disagree with you.
So
you cannot say that 4 years of fighting in a court for the safety of children does not matter when I am one of the attacked and harassed persons by that court. It makes no sense.
So
You have not told me how
That's because we've only
the previous cases have impacted on this current
we've
case.
only spoken for an hour. We have to speak much longer.
okay, ma'am, so let me jump in here, please. I have two things I want to say. I will speak about all the different court situations. There, as I mentioned, I laid a complaint on my behalf and Mr. LaRue's behalf to the court manager, Mr. Kunrad, right, about the conflict of interest and the bias, and that I intend to file civil and criminal lawsuits against multiple officials
And we have.
at the new law, at Humansdorp court, because there is a history.
Is the current magistrate also named in that lawsuit?
It's being done, yes, but he is on record in the documents. It's being sorted out because it's a lot of things, and we've had limited resources. And my partner's been injured because Captain Nico
And
Stander.
how far is the lawsuit? Because now it's very difficult for me to understand something that you are saying is in the process and you can't speak about it. Is Mr. Kora named in the lawsuit as someone
Everybody
that was involved?
Everybody is named in the lawsuit, even you, because you're now on record involved in this matter. It is broad. It's not as specific as you're trying to make it.
Ma'am,
But how am I named in the lawsuit? I'm not even involved.
Because you're busy currently, maybe defending me against a hostile court and magistrate. That's how. So if you want to excuse
And now I don't understand. That's too broad, and it's not gonna stick in court to say that everyone that you come across in a court is now involved in something that's hostile. You understand?
So you're telling me there's no hostile court environments in this country? Is that what you're trying to convince me of? Ma'am, it doesn't.
I'm not trying to convince you of anything.
It doesn't sound like you're trying to help or understand. It doesn't sound like it.
I am very well trying to help and understand and simplify the issues that we are faced with in this trial.
Then you have a lot of evidence to.
But it does not mean, sir, that I will not offer my legal advice. That's something that you need to understand.
We are appreciative. However, everything that we've now discussed in over an hour, you're in disagreement about, while other legal professionals are all in agreement about it. So how
which are the legal professionals? Because I'm the one that's on record for this case.
You are welcome to come read everything you want. There is lots.
Okay, can I please have a turn?
That is not going to be possible, sir. I'm not going to come and read.
Okay, so then how are you going to defend me then, ma'am?
I'm not on record for the other cases, sir. I'm on record for the case where you are accused of going to the premises of Jade Bradshaw.
I understand. Okay.
Yes.
My partner have a word. She sometimes sees things differently.
Okay, if you can please clarify a few things.
Yeah.
You asked which other officials. I'm explaining to you that if I remember correctly, it was Mr. Boyson, who is one of the head prosecutors, as well as the magistrate, this same magistrate, I think you just said his name was Mr. Cora. But in court the last time, when the matter was moved to New Law Court for us to appear there, when Humansdorp said they cannot preside over us, it was moved to New Law Court. It was those officials that moved it. So what I'm trying to say is, why does the same principle not apply? Because it's all the same people involved, okay?
It's a different case, ma'am. This case is not one where it's a different case. This one is not where it's not involved with the first case where you were arrested unlawfully.
So, ma'am, let me explain the connection to you then clearly. The first two arrests, the one that was unlawful and then the case that was transferred to Port Elizabeth, those were done by Captain Stander, right? The protection order Mr. LaRue was serving was against Jade Bradshaw, my ex-husband, and Captain Stander. So he's the common denominator. A protection order was being served on him by my partner, which is mine, in my defense. He was defending me, right? He was serving it for me because I'm bedridden and injured from Captain Stander attacking me because he used that defective warrant of arrest as a disguise, as an excuse to attack and assault me.
In another province, we were in the Transkei.
So currently, I was advised by the Department of Community Safety to open up a case of assault GBH against Captain Stander, right? So I've got a case against him that was referred to Coffeebay because it was the place of the assault. So it had to go there first. And then because it involves a police officer injuring a civilian in the line of duty, it was referred to IPID. So as of recently, a few weeks ago, I was in communication with the head of IPID from the Department of Community Safety, who confirmed and sent me a case number that Captain Stander is currently under investigation by IPID. My case is with them, right? So the common denominator here is Captain Stander. And what has also transpired is that the Department of Community Safety had to do an inquiry because they have authority and oversight over the police when there's police misconduct. So they had to do an inquiry into these matters. And as part of the inquiry, the person who answered for the inquiry was Colonel Mbalo, right? Now she's the one that arrested Mr. LaRue and said there was no other way because he contravened that protection order, which is not technically the truth, but she's the one that arrested him, right? Now the connection again is...
And she told me on the day that I disappoint her. That is a personal jab during an arrest, that I disappoint her and therefore I'm arrested. That's also not right, but continue please.
So Colonel Mbalo was the one that did the inquiry that had to answer the investigation by the Department of Community Safety. And the inquiry that came back, their answer, there was multiple lies and misrepresentation of the facts.
And deceiving the court.
And deceiving the court and deceiving the officials of the Department of Community Safety who's busy with the investigation. So what happened is when it was sent to me, I was asked to go for a meeting with the Department of Community Safety to sit through and go through that report that came back from the police, from Colonel Mbalo. And so I had about a 2-hour meeting where I sat and went through all the discrepancies and where Colonel Mbalo is lying on record, because we went through dates and case numbers and history of events, all of which she lied about, which is perjury because that's an official report, right? So that's the connection again. The Department of Community Safety, the official that I had a meeting with, after that whole 2 hours where we went through all these records, dates, times, case numbers, events, when she realized that I was speaking the truth because I was sitting with all my case files and she was going through the report of Colonel Mbalo, she said to me, okay, it's clear to me that Colonel Mbalo is protecting Captain Stander. So there's no point in referring it back to the district commissioner for SAPS, which I think is Brigadier Naidu. So then she said to me it has to be referred to the Department of Community Safety's head office, which is I think in Bishu, and it had to be referred to her superiors. From there, when the superiors looked at it at the head office and they went through all the files, she was then instructed to refer the matter to IPID. So through 2 different avenues, all our case history, because there's multiple incidents of misconduct by Captain Stander, police misconduct, case interference, unlawful arrests. There's a pattern here.
Child abuse.
Of personal problems.
Vendettas.
Yes. And so there's now 2 avenues where it is currently with IPID. And that's the reason for the protection order I applied for, which falls under the harassment category, not a normal protection order, because it's a repeated pattern over 4 years. And that case is currently proceeding to trial. We just had a consultation with the attorney that's handling that matter, because I think that is in court next week. So this is extremely connected.
In which court is this case in?
New law
in New Law Court. Okay.
Yes. So that's what we're trying to tell you. All our current cases is in New Law Court. Firstly, because of the complexity of the matter, and because of how things have escalated, and because of the evidence and record of all the problems of the connected officials in Humansdorp. Because Captain Stander is a spokesperson and official for Humansdorp Court. As the captain of the FCS, he handles children's court matters and anything to do with children and sexual abuse.
Yes, as an investigator, not as a part of the judiciary or Department of Justice.
Yes.
I need you guys to understand that there's different departments in the justice system. You understand?
We do.
I work for legal aid. I work for legal aid. I do not work for the prosecution. I do not work for the magistracy. I do not work with the clerks. So when I have a client, I deal with the client. When there's a complainant, the prosecutor deals with the complainant. The magistrate, then the police work with prosecutors. They investigate the cases and then take the cases to prosecutors. The prosecutors then bring the cases before court, and then the magistrate sits up there, and then he listens to both sides, the complainant side and the accused person's side in a criminal case. And in a civil case, it's the applicant and the respondent, and then the magistrate makes the decision. So you can't group everybody together. You can't say he's the spokesperson of the Humansdorp court. He's not the spokesperson of the Humansdorp court.
Yes, I understand. So maybe the term I used is not accurate enough for what you're trying to explain to me legally, but I fully understand the process. And this is what I now want to explain to you, is that, as mentioned, my divorce there was dragged out for 4 years. And during those 4 years, there were multiple counts of my ex-husband's applications just being granted without me even being present. And whenever I try to defend myself and put in counter applications, they either get immediately dismissed or I don't get called into court. So there's a history there of bias and clear interference, and that is why I had laid multiple complaints with the Legal Practice Council against multiple officials that were involved during my divorce. So there were previous magistrates involved, previous legal aid attorneys. There were the problems with the maintenance court officials, and even Mr. Kunrad is aware of all of this. It's all on record. And due to the multiple officials involved, from multiple cases not being handled fairly, that is why there's a conflict of interest, and our previous case was transferred to New Law Court, and subsequently all my cases are now at New Law Court for independent, fair judgment. Now, I understand that Captain Stander doesn't speak for the court. That's not what I meant. I meant when a case is handed to him, he goes to the court and they rely on him for evidence, right? They see him as a trusted source. And we are trying...
If the investigating officer in that particular case, then yes. If another person who's the investigating officer in that case, then they rely on that investigating officer's
yes, but what
collection of the evidence. Yes.
What we are trying to say to you is Humansdorp is a small dorpie, right? And everyone knows each other and everyone is connected. And for this reason, during my divorce, when I pointed out to the magistrate that Captain Stander was interfering in multiple cases, because whenever my ex-husband was contravening court orders by not paying maintenance or not letting me see my daughter, even though there was a valid court order, When I would try to open up cases against him, those cases would get transferred to Captain Stander, and they would sit on his desk, and he wouldn't proceed with them to court.
To this day.
He wouldn't inquire or investigate. There was clear case interference and bias. And so the magistrate at the time, Magistrate Dixon, she ordered in court in the presence of Colonel van Wijngaard, who arrested Mr. Leroux. Colonel van Wijngaard was present that day in court when the magistrate instructed her that Captain Stander is not allowed to be involved in any further Bradshaw matters. That's me, right? Me and my ex-husband. So he was court ordered, because of bias and case interference, to not further handle any of our cases. Magistrate Dixon said herself, this is a small town. If we were in Joburg, this would not be a problem. So please, can the police ensure that if one of the Bradshaws call and there's a problem, that the case gets given to someone else. Captain Stander is not to be involved in any Bradshaw matters, no matter who calls, my ex-husband or me. This was in January 2025, and the arrests and the attack and the assault all happened after that, which means he didn't follow the court orders. And then after that, it was found that the warrant was defective. And then after that, now the Department of Community Safety and IPID is involved. And what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not just Captain Stander and not just this judge, because I have had maintenance matters which go to maintenance court. I've had previous protection orders against my ex-husband, and this protection order that they did against Mr. Leroux in his absence. And there's been matters in court, and there's been problems at children's court. And so this is a widespread problem, because everyone knows each other, because it's a small town, and there's a clear pattern of fighting and hostility between me and my ex-husband and the officials who are on his side and the officials who are trying to protect him and who do not treat me and by default Mr. Leroux fairly, because he's been protecting and helping me. That's how he got dragged into it.
And other victims and other children spanning more than a decade.
And so with the Department of Community Safety involved...
sorry, ma'am. Can I just, without cutting you off,
Yes.
I'm very sorry about what's happening to you. And I understand that it has been a long and draining process. You understand?
Yes.
But now, what is happening is that by default, it seems as if you are the assumption now is that the reason why Mr. Leroux was arrested on that day is because Captain Van Wijngaard is aware or was a part of everything that happened, and it's not because I'm not sure if it's a he or she. It's because he was she. Okay, it's not because she, in her capacity as a police officer, then witnessed or had a reasonable suspicion that an offense was being committed and then acted on that.
Yes,
I'm going to make an example.
Not true.
I'm going to make an example. I'm going to say, can I finish? Then I will allow you to speak.
Yes.
I'm going to make an example and be like, let's say, I'm going to call them A and B. Let's say A is a terrible person to be, provoking B, assaulting B, insulting B on a previous occasion. And then on a certain day, B, then if B slaps A, not on the day where everything that A did that is terrible, not on that same day, but let's say a few weeks later, a few days later, if B then walks up to A and slaps A, is B not assaulting A just because there's a bad history between the two of them? And that is how the law works.
But I didn't assault anyone, and I was sent there by officials.
I'm making an example of a situation. I'm trying to.
The example is not applied correctly, nor is it relevant, because it's an incorrect, non-contextual example. It doesn't make sense what you're saying.
Okay.
Well, I understand what
I'm trying to say is there's a bad history between two people. it does not mean that let's say A has been doing terrible things to B. It doesn't mean that one day. I'm trying to respond to the allegations that the only reason Captain Van Veilgaard arrested Mr. Leroux on that day is based on the history that has been happening between all the parties, and not that in her capacity as a police officer, she was told that there is a protection order which says that this does not mean you are guilty. By the way, like when a police officer arrests you because someone says that I have a protection order which says that this person does not do this, and then they are told that this person did this, or they witnessed that the person is doing this, and they arrest you, does not mean you are guilty. You will only be found guilty in a court of law. So in and of itself, the fact that she arrested Mr. Leroux on that day when she was given a protection order by Jade Bradshaw, whether the protection order was set on you or not is another story that she will prove. But when she received the protection order and she saw you in the premises and the protection order says that it's not be there, then she had to act in her capacity as a police officer and arrest you.
So why doesn't she arrest Mr. Bradshaw or Captain Nico Stander for the breach of their orders? Yeah. Why was only
I cannot speak for that. So I'm just trying to understand what happened here.
You can ask, why was only I and my partner arrested and not either of them for breaking multiple court orders and laws? There is a problem there, and that is obvious and clear. So we have to find our way through this. Sorry, my partner wants to say something.
Yes, so he's making a good point, but I wanted to say something else. But I do want to make that clear, and that is the reason why this matter is currently with the Department of Community Safety, who has oversight and authority over the police for misconduct, and it's with IPID.
And they have found all the officials in Humansdorp and jbay unwilling to assist and cooperate. That's another big problem.
So what Mr. Leroux is saying is just I just want to finish.
I'm listening.
So there is a situation, a clear bias, where I have on record multiple court orders that Mr. Bradshaw was not following for years repeatedly. I have about 4 different court orders where he's in contempt of court because he's not following those court orders. And as mentioned, when I try to open up a case against him for contempt of court, he doesn't get arrested. The cases always go to Captain Stander and nothing happens, and those cases don't proceed to court. So that's case interference and corruption and clear protection of a single person where the law is not applied. And because of my complaints against Captain Stander, and he's in hot water and being investigated by IPID, by the Department of Community Safety, because of that, in protection of him and retaliation, is why they arrested Mr. Leroux. But now, I want to say, we can prove, use your example that you gave, that was saying it's not a malicious arrest. Colonel Van Veilgaard was just doing her job. That is not true. We can prove that by a voice recording we have with one of the captains at Mount Road that deals with police complaints that we went to go see. Now, at a previous meeting with him, where I had given him some documents so that he could try and assist me with these complaints against Captain Stander, when I went back with Mr. Leroux the next time to follow up, we have him on record saying that Colonel Van Veilgaard and Colonel Leslie work together. They are just above Captain Stander in Humansdorp. Now, they were the 2 officials that were present at that court hearing where Magistrate Dixon ordered them to tell Captain Stander not to be involved in our matters anymore. Now, when I went to this SAPS captain at Mount Road to go follow up about him assisting me with my complaint against Captain Stander, this captain states on record, he says to us, he cannot help us. He's shouting at us in the recording, saying he doesn't want to be seen with us. He's going to lose his job. That he was threatened by Colonel Leslie, who works with Colonel van Wijngaard, that they told him he is not allowed to assist us because he's interfering in their matters. And he chased us out of his office, saying that he is going to lose his job. If he is seen helping us, he's going to lose his job. He can't help us. He can't speak to us.
Does that sound justice?
He was threatened not to speak to us and not to help us.
I understand everything you're saying, but we are spending an hour and a half now speaking about the history of the case, which is, I understand, ma'am, the process that you are in, but quite frankly, it has no bearing on it doesn't have a legal bearing on the current case that Mr. Leroux is facing.
Absolutely not.
It's history.
Everything that you have said is not a defense in law.
What are your suggestions, ma'am? Let us hear your side.
Can you just, before you answer, there's something I've just been wanting to tell you. So, I currently have a children's court matter at Humansdorp, still to do with the safety of my minor daughter, right? And
yes,
a week or two ago when we were there, I spoke to Magistrate Kakangu, who was presiding over the matter, and I explained to her that I am pregnant and injured, and it's very sore for me to drive all the way to Humansdorp. But besides that, because of the pregnancy and how far along I am, and that I'm due within the next month or two, and because of a history of previous high-risk pregnancies where our baby unfortunately passed away. So there's a history where everything didn't go right. I have a history of a high-risk pregnancy.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is there is a very big health concern here, and this is part of the reason why I asked to appear virtually. So she said to me she's got no problem with that. So one of the things that we researched and checked here at New Law Court in Port Elizabeth was that the court admin coordinator, Ms. Nonkeuse explained to us that because of this problem with my pregnancy, and Mr. Leroux cannot drive so far because I'm left alone at home when Mr. Leroux goes to court, right? Firstly, I'm in distress and anxious and scared because of the attack by Captain Stander. I am very scared to be home alone. And because they arrested him last time, that's part of the reason why they arrested him, was so that I'm home alone, and they were showing me that, listen, we can arrest him and take him away, and then we can just come attack you again. This is extremely malicious and extremely evil. It is relevant.
It's mitigating circumstances.
But the point is, if I am home alone and Mr. Leroux is all the way in Humansdorp court, if there's an emergency, if I start bleeding or I go into early labor or there's any type of problem, I cannot transport myself to the doctor or midwife or hospital because of the injury from Captain Stander assaulting me. Mr. Leroux drives me. I can't drive because I can't even stand or walk properly. He takes care of me. And so for that reason, he cannot at the moment anymore go to Humansdorp court, because if something happens, I need him home to contact the midwife or contact the doctor or take me to the doctor or take me to the midwife.
And I've been to Humansdorp court 100 times in 4 years and nothing has ever gone right.
And so on that...
Ma'am, can I just respond to that? He did raise it in court the previous time.
No. I'd like my partner to finish her sentence, please.
So Magistrate Kankangu said to me she's got no problem with that. That is a valid medical reason that we can be assisted here at New Law Court to log in virtually, so that neither I nor Mr. Leroux has to travel all the way to Humansdorp, because that would be placing not only my life but our unborn baby's life in danger. We need to stay close to the people here who are caring for me and monitoring me. I cannot be home alone with no medical assistance and him being 2 hours away if something goes wrong. There's a lot that can go wrong in 2 hours. I can die or my baby can die if he doesn't get me to help quickly. He can't be so far away. So all we need is a request to be sent to the magistrate for Mr. Leroux to appear virtually. It's been organized already for my children's court matter that we can log in here and appear here.
Okay, ma'am. As I was trying to answer before Mr. Leroux interrupted me,
Yes.
Mr. Leroux did bring this up in court, and the court asked him, since the trial is a month away, to make other arrangements, and he agreed. So the case is appearing not virtually on the 13th.
I said I would try because it's a difficult situation and it's getting worse. It cannot be done, is what we are communicating to you. The court cannot make unrealistic, inhumane demands of citizens. We also have rights. Either you're going to help us or you're going to refer us, but we're not going to be abused by that system there where you are anymore. And it's not feeling helpful, this interview thus far.
What we are trying to say is that Magistrate Kokangu already authorized this. On principle, it is not supposed to.
And for your case, where you are party, and it makes all the sense in the world. Where you are a party, you cannot be there physically. But it's a different situation for Mr. Leroux. He's going to still also bring his own proof, his own medical proof that he had, or his own. Yes, if he wants to make that application, he will have to back it up. And what I'm trying to explain is he already did raise this in court, and the court postponed the matter for him to be to come back to Humansdorp in person on 18th of July. And he asked to make other arrangements.
No, incorrect. I asked that male magistrate that I would like the matter to be on a Tuesday or a Thursday because that's how I planned my life and care for me and my family. And also by the instruction of the original magistrate, the female one. So, and then he jittered and made some mumbling and said it could not be done. So how was it changed in the first place if it can't be changed back? There is something wrong, and either you're going to find a suggestion and help us, or you need to tell us you're not going to help us and we'll have to find another way. But you're giving us all the reasons in the world not to help, and we've given you a mountain of reasons with what is wrong and what help we need. So what are your suggestions?
You see, this consultation was for your case, but we spent a lot of time. I still don't have. Yes, we spent a lot of time on issues which are not really a defense to what you have been charged with. This is what I've been trying to explain for the past hour and a half, that I understand everything you are saying, and I'm very empathetic to what you are going through and to what your partner is going through, and I don't wish it on anyone.
What are your suggestions and what do you need from us then, ma'am?
Sir, like I explained to you before, that the case against you is very strong, you understand, especially if Mrs. I don't know if you said it's Liza or Liza, is going to also come and then testify that she did give the protection order to you. If the court finds that all the evidence of the state is credible and reliable, you will most likely be found guilty of contravening the harassment order. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time.
But ma'am, we are trying to...
I want to hear your suggestions and what you are intending to do, so I can understand your side of the page.
I've been trying to get your version on what I think happened. Do you understand? You have a sense to this. What are you saying?
And I've given you all the reasons, and so now you need to tell me what you are seeing and finding and what you can and cannot do, so we can make decisions.
What I'm hearing from you is that you are saying you never received the protection order, and so you're saying that you were not aware that there is a court order telling you not to be on that.
No, what I'm telling
on that property, and hence why you went there that day. So that is your defense, isn't it? Is it not?
I'm saying also that, but what I'm saying is I was sent there by a court and a police official, accompanied by a police official. I was not trying to do anything, and it was at the end of a 3-year situation,
and
which I never transgressed.
Yeah.
So you are supposed to be defending me, not finding problems with what I'm trying to explain to you. Can you understand?
And I gave you, I'm trying to advise you according to how the court is going to come to the final decision. And I gave you the probabilities of what you are saying, that you were sent by the court. Which court is that? You still haven't given me the name of the court, and it most likely will not be able to tell the magistrate as well what court was that.
Yes,
and you will not be able.
Yes, I can. No, ma'am. We've had 2 or 3
Which court is it?
So you and me have spoken quickly outside court next to a dustbin, and this is the first time we've spoken properly about some of the things. I'm going to send you the information you asked Mr. Gawler and Captain Mitchell's contact details so you can contact them, because they said that you must contact them. I've been to see them just like you requested of me. So I'm going to send you all that.
And I'm also still going to
and I also need my property back so I can send you the further evidence so that you can defend me. It just doesn't feel like you're defending me at all. So I just want to hear your thoughts and how you intend to defend me.
What I intend to do is to put to the court what you are saying, which is that you do not know anything about a protection order.
No, I do know about
that you did not receive it.
Yes, I did not receive it.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say, that you're saying prior to that day, to you now being told that you are being arrested for contravening a protection order, you're saying that you did not know that there was a harassment order against you.
I was maliciously arrested. I was not contravening a court order. I was following a court order.
So your question earlier was which court told him to serve those protection orders. As mentioned, it's the New Law Court. All my matters are at New Law Court, and the protection orders he was.
Yes, but that's very broad, ma'am. He needs to say a court is not New Law Courts. It's which magistrate said that, and in what capacity was he sitting at?
Because he did not furnish me with those details as they protect their staff. He said that you are welcome to contact him.
Okay.
He cannot give me the details.
So Mr. Gawler is the manager for the domestic violence section, the family court section, where you get protection orders, because both the protection orders were done through that section of the court, domestic violence family court. And
Is he the manager for the family?
I don't know who the magistrate
section.
Sorry, say that again, please. The internet hooked.
I'm asking, you're saying is the man for the what?
So now for the 4th or 5th time, are you not understanding? Mr. Gawler runs the entire department.
No, I understand you are saying it's Mr. Gawler. I want to write down what his occupation is. You're saying he's the manager of what?
He runs
of which section?
But ma'am,
domestic violence
and harassment.
Domestic violence section. Oh, and harassment.
Yes.
Thank you. You can, ma'am.
So what I'm saying is I applied for the protection orders, but because I am injured, Mr. LaRue went to take my applications to the court to hand them in for me, and then again when they were granted and they had to be served, he went to pick them up for me, because at the time I was bedridden and injured. So he went and he got the protection orders, and then he went to speak to Mr. Gawler and he asked him, how do these need to be served?
I didn't even ask. They told me.
Okay, Mr. Gawler told him. I'm speaking.
No. Mr. Gawler's staff told me. The ladies who run the front office gave me those instructions, and Captain Mitchell.
And so what we're trying to explain to you is the reason why they instructed him to do it is because he was explaining to them that he is having trouble serving them because the police in Jeffreys Bay refused to assist him. He drove to Jeffreys Bay more than once.
And also in a previous matter, they didn't serve it, and they told the New Law Court there was no return of service. That's why I asked you for the return of service.
Yes, I'm getting to that. So I want to explain the two things, because you made it clear that to serve a protection order, it has to be by the clerk of the court, or sheriff, or
court.
Yes, so that's what I'm
or peace officer.
Yes, so I'm trying to explain to you that more than once he attended Jeffreys Bay SAPS and asked for assistance.
And Humansdorp SAPS.
And Humansdorp SAPS, both of them, to ask for assistance to serve the protection orders. both times he was not assisted. He would wait and wait and wait. The one day he waited until 9 o'clock in the evening at Jeffreys Bay Police Station, where they kept saying, we'll help you, we'll help you, we'll help you. And eventually by 9 o'clock he left, because he'd been sitting there all day and no one helped him to just go and serve these protection orders. That is how he ended up asking advice of Mr. Gola, where the protection orders were picked up at New Law Court, to go check, and he asked for help with Captain Mitchell at SAPS Mount Road, who deals with police complaints, because he was not being assisted by the police to serve them in Humansdorp or Jeffreys Bay. Now, the reason we couldn't use the sheriff, I want to explain, is because of Captain Stander's involvement. As part of my complaints against Captain Stander, what happened in a previous matter is that my daughter was kidnapped by Captain Stander and the sheriff that serves all the documents in Humansdorp and other officials that were present. They took my daughter from Mr. LaRue without a social worker present and not following proper child removal procedures. That's part of my case against Captain Stander, and part of the reason why this is with the Department of Community Safety is my daughter was unlawfully removed, like no proper lawful procedures, no social worker present, by Captain Stander, and the sheriff was present. And he lied to Mr. LaRue, and when he came to serve the papers on me, he lied to me.
And he lied to a little girl, saying, I'm taking you to...
Yeah.
Yes, and he lied to my daughter.
Who was the sheriff?
It was the
Who was the sheriff?
There's only one sheriff.
There's only one. Ma'am, are you trying to help us, or are you trying to not help us? You need to make this clear.
You said yourself, there's
So
only one sheriff.
you're frustrated, and you're also not helping me,
Okay,
because
so
now whenever I'm trying to ask questions, you are attacking me in your answers.
there is only one sheriff.
I'm trying to ask who was the. I'm asking a question. Who was the sheriff? I'm your attorney. I need information.
So,
but now, when you are answering me,
It was the
you are
sheriff's
asking as
office.
if I
It was
have.
the sheriff's office of Humansdorp. It's one office.
There's only one sheriff
Okay.
for Jeffreys Bay and
Okay.
Humansdorp.
The protection order was the harassment order was applied for in PE, at New Law Courts. Why couldn't the clerks assist me?
Because it has to be served in Jeffreys Bay. A court clerk from Port Elizabeth is not going to drive all the way to Jeffreys Bay to serve a protection order. It's not their jurisdiction.
If it was made there, ma'am, then like the Act says, a court, a clerk of the court, a peace officer, or
if doesn't help you, we need the facts here.
Ma'am,
If they had helped properly, we wouldn't be here. If Humansdorp court wasn't corrupt, we wouldn't be here. If the officials were not covering up, there wouldn't be children dead and molested. So there are a lot of ifs.
let me get back to the sheriff's issue. No one from New Law Court indicated to Mr. LaRue that a clerk of the court, especially a Port Elizabeth clerk of the court, would or could serve the protection order in Humansdorp in Jeffreys Bay. No one explained that to him. They said he must do it, because when he complained that the police wasn't assisting him, the other reason, which I'm trying to explain, is for previous matters, when I got when I applied for a warrant of execution against my daughter's father for 4 years of maintenance that he owes me.
Which is 4 years of broken court orders.
So, because my ex-husband had defaulted on maintenance on a court order for 4 years, the New Law Court assisted me to apply for a warrant of execution against him. That application had to be served. Now, we have tried the sheriff route. When that clerk asked me, how do you want it to be served? I said, can the sheriff serve it? They say yes. Now, the problem is the sheriff here will send it to Humansdorp for the Humansdorp sheriff to serve, because that's the area of jurisdiction. Now, because of the Humansdorp sheriff's involvement in previous matters, bias with Captain Stander and my ex-husband, where they stole my daughter.
And lies on record.
What they did is, the return of service came back for that matter, no service. And even the magistrate that had to then deal with the warrant of execution, she even said that she's going to hear the matter ex parte because she can see what's going on here. They're claiming no service, but that's impossible because he lives at home and work from home. There was no way that they couldn't serve that. So there's a problem that we cannot trust the sheriff to serve it, because if it comes back no service, then they don't need to come appear in court for the protection orders, and we wanted to make sure they get served so that they do not have a way of saying that they were not served and they don't have to come appear.
But they don't know about it.
Exactly. So because of this problem with the Humansdorp sheriff and the police refusing to assist him, Captain Mitchell then phoned Colonel van Wijngaard and said, please assist Mr. Leroux to get these protection orders served. That is how he ended up there. But Colonel van Wijngaard is protecting Captain Stander, who I have all these cases against. And that's why in Captain Stander's defense and in revenge and retaliation for me pushing back against them and getting the protection orders, they then arrested him.
A second time.
And that is why it's all connected. And that's how he ended up there. It was for me. And that's why I'm speaking and explaining to my case, because he would never have been there if someone helped him by law to serve the orders. And if I was not personally injured by Captain Stander, I could have done it myself. He was there for me. It's my fault. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, so what I understand now, your side of the story is that you were on that day helping to serve your partner's have an order which she didn't hold by herself, and it had and the sheriff also tried to from the sheriff had come back multiple times saying no service.
The internet is hooking. Ma'am, the internet is hooking. Just give it a second. Maybe just if you can just chat a little bit slower. The words are coming through broken.
Okay. So what I've recorded and what I'm going to be putting to the witnesses is that on day, on the 12th of December 2025, you went to Jeffreys Bay to serve a protection order on behalf of your partner. Such protection order had been unsuccessfully served by the sheriff before, and you had requested police at Humansdorp and Jeffreys Bay to serve it before, and they did not assist. And now you went back to people at court, and then they advised that you serve it yourself. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then Captain Mitchell then called Captain van Wijngaard for assistance, and then you went there because you were not aware that there was a protection order against you saying you must not go to that specific property. Is that the gist of it? Am I correct?
That's the gist of it, yes.
Yes, okay. So I've got it now. I've got your version. Okay. That's what I'm going to be putting to the state witnesses.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, so that's basically your defense, that you were not aware that there was a protection order. And you are also saying you did not go there out of malice. You were just trying to assist your partner.
In self-defense, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
And then we will send you Captain Mitchell's contact details and Mr. Gola's contact details, who Mr. Leroux has went back to, and they said you can contact them.
There are also further and other police officials up to Lieutenant Colonel also helped in the same matter on that same time. Their names, however, they've asked just for us to hold it back for now while investigations are ongoing. So you are welcome to contact us anytime. You are welcome at our house to come read these things, do investigations. We are running towards the law. We are not running from the law.
And yes, please send me Mr. Gola and Captain Mitchell's details, and then I will find out from them how they can be of assistance. which is if they are willing to come and testify that they are the ones that advised you that the only resort you have now is to go and serve the protection order yourself.
Thank you. I will do that. No problem.
Did Captain Mitchell say you must go with the captain that he asked to help you on that day with the police? Did you guys drive together?
He said Van Wijngaard will assist me to get it done.
Okay, but did that mean that you guys were together, or that she was going to the protection order on herself, and that by assisting?
I think it's clear from what I'm telling you that I was told, instructed, and led to believe that I was going to be assisted by Colonel Van Wijngaard, because she said, "Ek's nie bang om vir Stander te serve nie." So that also indicates a problem, because she's not scared. Who else is scared to serve Stander? She was going to help me serve Stander because she's not scared to serve Stander. And off I drove back to Jeffreys Bay for a 5th time to defend my house.
Okay, so I need you not to get frustrated, because these are the questions that you will be frustrating.
But how can you say that?
But
my entire life
I will need you to calm down. I will need you to calm down, because when the court is evaluating, yes. Can I please try and advise you? Yes. So when you get on the stand, when it's important to testify, I'm going to lead you so that you can tell your story. So I will be asking questions so that you can tell the story in chronological order, what happened. Then after that, I will sit down and the prosecutor's pen, and they're going to ask you the questions that I'm asking you, and even more. Understand, because their job is to prove that the complaint.
No, I understand. You and me are having a private hubris conversation, getting the facts in order and setting up a defense. Don't worry. I have worked in front of crowds. I've worked in high pressure situations, and I currently am handling with. I will be calm. I am calm. I'm in a trusted environment with you right now, having an open, hubris. Hardcore conversation to get to the bottom of this mess.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yes. So you're going to need to, like, when they listen to the question and they respond to the question, and then, like, if you don't understand, just ask them to clarify, or even myself when I'm asking you questions, or even the magistrate. You understand?
I also know that in law, it's not how you say it. It's not how. I have been in a court before where we've defended someone else, where the judge said to my friend at that time, because a lawyer tried to say he's being rude and he's using ugly words. The law does not identify like that. It's not how you're saying, it's what you're saying. But I will be cool and calm. You've spoken to me.
Yeah.
We're talking in a trusted format right now, so I'm being clear and I'm showing you that it is an ugly experience that we are going through, and I need you to help me, my partner, and most importantly the kids and her child who are under this pile. Please. Okay, sweet.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, and you too, ma'am. I'm really glad that we have had this consultation. I do believe that I have the background, and I understand why you feel the way that you feel about this whole situation. You understand? But yeah, the only thing that we can do now is to go to court, try and put your case across, and then the magistrate will be the one who makes the final decision as to whether you are guilty or not guilty.
Okay, can I just ask again, if you can please assist to put in a request with the magistrate for Mr. LaRue to appear virtually here from New Law Court, to be logged in and not drive all the way physically to Humansdorp. And along those lines, not just because he's caring for me in my pregnancy and because we are so close to my due date, and that it is possible that I can go into early labor or have bleeding or have some sort of emergency, and then it is not fair from a human rights perspective and from a medical perspective for Mr. LaRue to be so far away and not be able to care for me and assist me should something go wrong. But besides that, if Mr. Gola and Captain Mitchell is contacted, they all work here in Port Elizabeth. So if they are going to be asked to testify, it would make sense then for all of them together to go to New Law Court and be assisted virtually to be logged in and speak. Because I can assure you, Captain Mitchell and Mr. Gola, especially Mr. Gola, works there at court. Why would he want to drive all the way to Humansdorp? He's probably going to ask you the same thing. And he's probably going to ask Ms. Monkey Zoleka, the court admin coordinator, please help me log in. Let me do this virtually. If he can do it virtually and they're not going to drive, why don't all of them just appear from New Law Court for everyone that lives this side to be logged in and testify from this side?
Okay. Can we agree that at least on the 13th, because in criminal cases, if the accused person is not there, then a warrant might be authorized and issued, and then he might be arrested for not appearing in court. So that we can make
a month to arrange this.
Ma'am, that's why we're asking.
Listen, can I please respond? Can I respond? Yes, thank you. It's a criminal case. Sometimes there are things that are going to crop up in the state's evidence, or whilst the state witnesses are testifying, or whilst you are whilst you are testifying. It's not like me and you can consult. You will have to testify until you are done, and you and I can't speak about anything about the case. But whilst the state witnesses are testifying, sometimes you and I will need to. It might happen that I will need to take further instructions from you, and it will be a bit more difficult if you are appearing virtually. Those are some of the things that can arise. Understand? But in the meantime, the court has warned him to come and appear on the next occasion. So it would be better if he appears on the 13th.
The court is also alive to the fact that I told the court, the judge, this judge who is biased, that I have a medical situation of care for my child and my partner, and he said I can try and make arrangements. Now we've been through all the specialists, the doctors, the caregivers, and my diary, and our financial situation, and the care of my partner. It is not possible, and I am communicating that to you, that it needs to be postponed and or virtual and or moved, and that is my right.
Okay, so actually asking you to then make the application and then let you know if the court says yes or not. You are not going to be able to make it.
I don't know what you're going to do. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if you can do it tomorrow, today.
I take instructions. From you. The case is appearing on the 18th of July.
Can you immediately make a request for these things immediately, please?
On the 13th of July.
No, we are
today
asking,
or tomorrow.
We are asking in preparation for and in advance because of it being the 2nd of July, and he only has to be in court the 13th of July.
And I communicated this on the previous date.
Okay, so will you be able to come then so that I can make the application tomorrow? Because I won't be. I'm on leave the whole of next week. The only day that I'm available is tomorrow.
I cannot, in good conscience, from an ethical point of view and on the advice of professionals and other legal counsel helping with other matters, leave my partner and my unborn son alone for any reason at this time or going forward. Can we please figure out how to make this work or postpone it then to next year?
How am I going to do the application with you not there? That's my problem. If you could come tomorrow, then I make the application.
I'm able to appear at the New Law Court, as in other matters, virtually, and the New Law Court has agreed to it. So why can the Humansdorp Court not agree to it? Please, can you immediately make such applications, inquiries, or requests?
And where will you be?
Sorry?
I'm asking when I'm making the application. As the applicant, you have to be present.
But can he not be present virtually?
I can be present after the birth of my son and my partner back home safe and healthy, whenever that is. Can you? I mean, you're not unreasonable and you're not uneducated, so I know you understand what I'm saying. Can you please help us find the answer here?
I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is that the matter is not on the roll tomorrow, so we would have to ask for it to be placed on the roll, and you would have to be available as the applicant. That is what I'm saying. And next week I'm not at court at all.
Okay, I understand.
The whole of next week, and the only day that I will be available is then the 13th.
I understand, but you're my legal counsel, and just like you're not available tomorrow, I'm not available at all until my partner and child are safe, sound, and healthy on the advice of other professionals, legal counsel, and my own ethical and moral values.
What we are failing to understand, ma'am, is why does he have to be physically present when the whole reason for the application is we're saying he can't be physically present? Can someone not just do a video call from court if he needs to be asked a question? Can he go here to New Law Court, and whatever needs to happen, can we just find a way to work around it? Because we are saying he can't be there physically, that's the reason for the application. But now you're saying for the application he needs to be there physically. It doesn't make sense. So we need to be assisted with either a personal video call or a way for him to appear, or sending in an affidavit or something, or if he can go to this court and then Humansdorp court can phone this court or do virtual or whatever the process is. Can we just be helped?
And why the court here understands.
That's the whole point, ma'am. That's the whole point, ma'am, that it's an exception. It's not something that happens every day. It's not like there's cameras in court. If you walk into court right now, there's no cameras. That's something that will have to be arranged. That's why we have to make the application.
So can it be arranged then, please? Can you let us know what you need from us and how it can be done? Because I feel like we've made a very reasonable legal request, and we've made clear how we feel and where we stand, and we'd very much like not to be in contravention of any laws, as we have not been up to now.
And as stated, the magistrate for my children's court matter said she's got no problem with it, and there is a court admin coordinator at New Law Court Port Elizabeth. Her name is Miss Nonkeuse, and she is the one that assists with virtual appearances, and she says she's happy to assist. We must just give her the dates and she'll pencil them in, and so we can arrange everything very easily from this side. We just need assistance from you to arrange it with Humansdorp court. But Mr. LaRue cannot leave me, ma'am, because if something happens, I do not have anyone to help me.
We've made this clear. Please, maybe you need to take some time to think about it. We are available 24/7. You can call us, WhatsApp us, schedule another meeting. If you need time to think about it or get advice, no problem. And then we can weigh up our options and all stay on the same page. But we're going in circles now.
Yeah, but like I said, my work day ends 4 o'clock, so it's already something to 4 now, and I've got a full day in court tomorrow, you understand? And next week I'm not available, so it's not like I'm only working on this case.
No, I understand what you're saying. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
We are saying that...
Don't repeat it, please. Don't repeat it. It's enough now. So will you let me send you all the information you requested, and then we'll wait to hear from you. Is that okay?
I will let you know tomorrow if I can make the application. I'll speak to the people at court, also find out what arrangements they will make, and then I will let you know if I'm able to make the application tomorrow. So you'll hear from me tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Nice evening. Get home safe. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.